Huh?
What are you doing over there, man?
Man, I'm trying to see the technology. I know it says I'm live now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see who the technology wizard is in here.
I had you set up. See, you want to go in there and change it. Like if you'd have left it. See, the way you got it right now, I'm trying to look for it on here so I could actually, I wanted to share it with everybody that I know.
But it's on now, right?
Yeah, you live now.
It says live, okay.
Yeah, you live now.
Get on out of y'all hair. Thank you,
We
my
got some more work.
friend.
Oh, anytime, brother. We appreciate
I
you.
hope you told me I had to get lit. I hope I.
Hey, you did an excellent job.
Excellent job.
Excellent.
Look at it. Like you done this before.
No.
Huh?
Like you want to have a show.
Exactly.
Look.
Like you
and
wanna
then
have
he
a show.
said, "What's your favorite chapter?" I'm like, man.
Hey, that's what you do. You got to get ready for Oprah.
You
That's
say
what I was talking to you about earlier. Like,
you say she want to have a
ask
show.
for gifts.
You say she want to have a show. Is that what I heard you say?
That's what he said.
Okay. Yeah, you live now, bro. You live now.
Comments will appear here. All right, so we'll see how many comments we get.
There you go. They already coming up.
So we'll see what we get. Because now we get ready to go hard in the paint.
See now,
Now we get ready to go hard in the paint. We got to move all these chairs.
See, they want to
all
know
these
about
microphones.
finances. They want to know about
They want to know about everything. So we going to, I'll keep it moving.
See now I can show you. I can pull it up now. I don't know what you did the first time, man. I don't know what you did.
You know what, man?
But what you need to do is let
If I wasn't a man of my word.
What you said was this right here.
If I wasn't a man of my word,
how did he introduce me?
If I wasn't a man of my
When he
word,
introduced me to you, what did he say?
You the producer?
So let me produce.
Man, but you
Keep your hand up, so let me do it.
go to Daily Brand and do it there. Let me see, man. Let me see if this thing working, man.
Oh yeah, you got two people already.
Look at this Mark Watts, man. That's my little brother, man. He been trying to get in for 30 minutes.
Look at he been trying to get in, and you know why he couldn't get in? Because of you messing.
Lucky this is a
because you
gospel
put your
show.
hands on stuff.
You lucky this is a gospel show. If this wasn't no gospel show.
Y'all do this for the
Yeah. Look.
If this wasn't no gospel
You see
show,
what I'm up against, right?
if this wasn't no
You
gospel
see what I'm up
show,
against. I appreciate you coming
I
in.
know this guy for a long time.
Have you always been crazy?
hey man, we got to get ready to get back on it.
Yeah.
We got like a minute. We got a minute.
Now, actually, well, we
To
can cut
get
it in a
in.
minute, but you got 2 minutes. Actually, 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
With this song.
We good.
Go get your tickets. Don't Joaquin.
Faith.
Faye.
Faith.
Okay,
Faye.
Faye.
Got you.
Remember when I told you earlier?
Well,
Faith, that's business. That ain't nothing. I told you when I did my book, how many copies did I tell y'all about? 2,500.
yeah.
First book, 2,500. Put him in my basement, 2,500 books. Faith. Because I said, if I'm a writer, this is the best. This your word.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. It's done. You know, what a minister say? And he say it's done.
It is done.
Okay.
It is
So we
done.
ain't gonna keep.
Okay, so you gonna
What you worried about?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not worried.
Did you pray about it?
We need to. She did.
I'm talking about him being at the
Oh, he gonna be there. He gonna be there.
Right.
If you don't be there, you give me a
Right.
call.
Brian,
There you go. If you don't be there, you give me
have
a
I ever
call.
said
If you don't
anything
be
to you
there-
I didn't do?
Huh?
Have I ever told you anything I didn't do?
No. Man, he put his word down. He put his word down that I can say.
Right.
Don't tell him I said it, but he's with his word.
You have a good
He
evening.
with his word down.
All right, my friend.
You have a good evening.
Okay.
This microphone, man. I got to get it.
Just sit in the chair when you go to the pool.
Thank you again.
Oh no problem. Thank you. Thank you. Make sure you tune in every Thursday, 8 to 9.
Absolutely.
You know, I got my family on.
See,
I
now-
see you, Dank.
See, now I can share you, and everybody I got all my groups and everything. I can do that now. But that man, I'm where are you? Man, let me produce, man.
You lucky we on a gospel show. That's all I'm gonna say. You lucky we on this gospel show. Nah, man. Hey, I've nothing but love for you, man. Nothing.
And you know it
Nothing
goes,
but love.
you know it goes both ways, man.
Nothing but love.
That's
You
the way
know.
it is.
All right. So we Ooh, that was good, man.
It was good. Yeah,
That
I'm
interview.
proud of you, man.
Come
You
on,
did
man.
good. You did good, man.
Madison Square Garden, 21,183.
Mm-hmm.
Be there. Madison Square Garden,
Exactly.
2018. Doing it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. All right, so we got we can go on and cut it now.
Cut it.
Let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm gonna go back, do some level set, talk to some people, see what we got going on, and personal finance. Okay, thank you, and welcome back to the show, Daily Bread. So what I'm going to do now is do a little level setting, because I've been off the air for a couple of weeks, and I apologize, and that's just life. I mean, things were happening, had some obligations that I needed to meet, but the one thing I can say was I was extremely excited, couldn't sleep last night, felt like Christmas. I couldn't wait to get back on this microphone, because let me tell you, one of the things that was in my spirit and something that I heard over the weekend that I wanted to share with my audience was that many times we penalize our friends and we penalize our family members because they didn't or they don't support what our dreams are. And what I learned this weekend in listening to a fellow speaker, which is this: don't penalize anybody for doing anything, because everything is going to happen in due season. And it's not that they don't love you. It's not that everybody should be listening. And what that did for me, it just gave me that additional confirmation, because when you start on a dream, the first thing you think about is it's going to be all uphill from here. I'm going to have, 100 people this week and 300 next week and then 3,000 and 3 million, but it don't work like that. You got to be tested. You got to be tried. You got to be true to doing what you say you really want to do. So then that way, once you go through that test, and I'm in my testing period, because the way I look at it is, another thing that you have to do that's going to speed up that process is what I did in my pre-show post on my Facebook, which is the Daily Bread Show, was to put a little snippet out there and say what my vision is. And my vision is to be, and this is something that I play with, I imagine it, being in Madison Square Garden, walking out onto that stage, sold out show, and I'm doing a show on personal finance. First time in history. Only people to sell out the Garden was Jay-Z, and then you had a couple other people, Muhammad Ali, with big fights and things of that nature. But I saw myself on that stage. Why Madison Square Garden? I have no idea, but that was the vision that I had. And I'm holding on to that vision. I'm going to hold true to that vision until the day that I walk out on that stage and it's 21,183 people. It's a sold out venue, and I'm going to come out and grab the microphone. The first thing I'm going to say is thank you. Thank you. Because I'm going to keep chasing this dream. And the one thing I want to share with my audience is this. It's not about volume when you're helping people, right? It's really not about volume. Yeah, it would be great if I was, Tom Joyner overnight, or Michael Baisden, or, Greg Street, or Frank Ski, or whomever, or Ryan Cameron, Michael. It would be good. Donnie Simpson, but all that's Steve Harvey. All of that's going to happen to me in time. But I got to first put the time in. So that's where I'm at with that. The thing that's reassuring to me is this. Every time that I do this show, I have someone to either reach out to me personally, call me, send me a text, or they reach out to me on Facebook and say, you know what, that information you shared with us, it really helped me, it helped my family, and we in a different place now. Or we on our way to going into a different place. So that's just a little bit about where I am. So let's talk about the upcoming weeks. So again, have been out a couple of weeks, not being able to come on live. And now that I am live, we're going to talk about some different topics. So the last topic that I talked about was about how to get your bills in order. And before I talked about how to get your bills in order, I talked about budgets. So bills is where I left off at. In the upcoming weeks, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the entree of all personal finance, what everybody wants to know about, which is credit. Credit it's going to be a multi-week, multi-volume topic, because credit has so many different twists and turns and things, and everything that you can imagine is really tied into credit. I mean, literally. I got a daughter that's graduating from college in 60 days, and one of the first things that me and her talked about in speaking about her graduation is the fact that the employer that she's interviewing with, more than likely is going to pull her credit. So during college, you know, she's done like college students do, ordered a pizza and order some shoes and order some other things without understanding how credit works. So we're going to talk about credit. This week's show, I'm going to finish up with bills. I'm going to go back and spend the time that we have left today to recap the bill payment process. Next week's show on the 23rd of March, we're going to start our conversation about credit. The week after, March the 30th, we're going to continue to talk about credit. And then the week after that, the first week in April, which is going to be April the 6th, we're going to continue to talk about credit. Some of the upcoming topics in the future, we're going to start to talk about things like mindset. Mindset has a lot to do with everything that we do within the realm of personal finance. We're also going to be talking about goals, because many times people, you know, aspire to do different things, change their lives, lose weight, make money, you know, get a better job, get a better house, but you got to have short-term, long-term goals, and those goals have to be measurable. So I'm going to show you a process from that standpoint. We're also going to get into savings. Many times we talk about spending. Bree Jarmel, the author that just left, the author of Be Authentic Evermore, that we just interviewed, one of the things that she talked about was something that's called mood spending. So with the mood spending, what that does is, that's just when you just go out and spend. You don't really have no intention on spending, but you do spend. So we're going to talk about the opposite of spending, which is going to be savings. So as we start to talk about savings, I'm going to talk to you about why it's important to save and what savings will open you up to. Because when you save, savings is going to open you up to a whole other world of things where you're going to be able to deal with something in credit that's called capacity. And capacity is one of those things that, not to get off today's subject, but just real quick, capacity is one of those things where creditors look at what's your capacity to manage a certain level of credit. So when you start seeing people with, you know, black cards and platinum cards and things of that nature, not only do they have the ability to pay, but the other thing is they've shown that they have a certain capacity to deal with credit and not just get credit and use it to the max, but be able to have access to an extended amount or an extensive amount of credit and not be able, not so much not be able to, but have the discipline not to use it. See, that's when you really are in control, is when you have access to things and you don't have to utilize it. That's the true mark of discipline. So we're going to talk more about that. And like I said, I'm totally committed to the show. We do it every week through the end of this year, through the end of next year. And the end game for me is Madison Square Garden 2018. So when it manifests and when we get there and things go down, everybody's been following me on Facebook, all of my friends, and even like I learned this weekend, even the people who haven't called into this show, even the people that haven't purchased a book, I still want all of you all to come and celebrate with me in New York City when this happens. Because one thing about when you see something like this come and manifest, you want to be in the atmosphere. You want to be in the environment so that way you can witness to it. You can say, I remember when he was talking about it, and now it's coming to light. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure, and I have a giveaway tonight that I think is going to be very, very, very helpful. And when you come and you see that manifestation, when I get into Madison Square Garden, you want to be able to let that blessing just pour all over you. Because one thing about environments, when you're in the environment and something like that is going on, you're going to be blessed as well. You're going to be truly blessed. And Raheem, I got a giveaway. It's on the table in there. If you could bring that in here, I'll have it. We can just sit it down on the side, and I'll wrap it up and talk about some bills. So we got 20 good minutes. So let me go back and recap the bill payment system, because we talked about budgets, and then the last show I talked about bills. Yeah, you can bring both of them. You can bring both of them. So just for a quick recap, because we have 20 minutes left. from a bill standpoint, let's talk about bills. Let me recap that real quick in about 10 minutes. So first thing that you want to do when you go home is get organized. And what I mean by getting organized is you want to get all of your bills, all of the past due ones, all of those envelopes, everything that's on the table, under the couch, in the cabinets. You want to pull all that stuff out, get it onto the table. The things that I told you that you're going to need in order to be successful in this process is to make sure that you have a shredder. You're going to need to make sure that you have a folder and folders. You want to have several folders, and you want to have a container where you can keep all of your information in one place. So you're going to need a calendar. So desktop calendar preferably, and what that's going to do is it's going to help you to get the process going. So step one of the process is going to be take all of your bills, get them organized, find out which ones are, still due, the ones that you haven't addressed, and then the other stuff that is just like junk mail, get rid of all of that. But you want to get all of your bills and get them all out of those envelopes and get them all on the table. The next thing that you want to do is you want to take those bills and you want to take your manila folders and you want to create a folder for each one of your bills so that way you can track things like the account number, the balance due, when is the due date. I talked a lot about due dates. I won't go deep into that in this show, but what I will do is I'll make sure that I'll bring that up and we'll continue to talk about that in the future. So when you start thinking about due dates on bills, that's one of the most important things that you can have is to know your due dates, because what due dates are going to do is it's going to save you money from having past due bills, over the limit fees, disconnects, reconnects, and things of that nature. So that $100 bill doesn't turn into a $300 bill. So you're going to need to know your due dates. So you got your bills, you got your manila folders, you got your account numbers on your bills, you got your due dates. Then you want to take out your calendar. Now, once you get your calendar and it comes into play, you want to get you a desktop calendar. If you don't want to use a desktop calendar and you want to use something like, they have the pocket size one, they have some that you could fold up and close, or you can even use your phone. Whichever method you choose to use that. But for me, I always recommend using a desktop calendar. And the reason I say use a desktop calendar is this: you can't fold it up and put it away. Because many times when you're doing things and you start working out or you start working on a project, you put it in a book or you have it on a piece of paper, you fold it up, you put it out, you put it away. With the desktop calendar, what that's going to do is it's going to force you to deal with your bills on a daily basis. So when you put it on that desktop calendar, you got to look at it. When you put it somewhere, hopefully you won't fold up the desktop calendar and put it in the closet, but put it somewhere where you're going to have easy access to it and you can get right to it. So one of the things that you want to do is make sure that with your desktop calendar, you want to take each one of your bills and start to put it on before your due date. So if let's say your water bill, if your water bill is due on the 8th, set you a date for the 5th. So that way you got time to make the payment and you're not trying to make it on the 8th and then you get a late fee because they didn't process it until the 9th. So if the bill is due on the 8th, set you a timer for the 5th. And then you go right down the line. Your electric bill is due on the 16th, set it for the 12th. Your mortgage is due on the 1st, set it for the 27th of the previous month. And then you just go right down the line. You do all of that for the first month. So with this being March, you do it for all your due dates in March for every bill that you have. So once you do that and you put that in order, now you have organization. Now you know when it is due. So on the line, I see, we got Ken Gray. Ken Gray is a childhood friend I've been knowing probably 40 plus years. I'm 50, and me and Kenny been rolling since maybe like the 6th grade. We got Brian Armstrong on. Brian Armstrong is my little brother from Duval. I got Mark Watts on. Mark Watts is my little brother from Duval. Because these are people that I've grown up with. Of course, my lovely wife, Tanya Thompson, is on. Love you. Couldn't do it without you. And then my oldest daughter is on as well, Ashley. And my youngest daughter is probably listening, Nia. And my son better be listening. That's Joaquin, but that's another story for another day. So what we want you to do now is we have a few minutes up. We got about 15 minutes, and I have some giveaways. So the call-in number is 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. So as we wait for the callers to call in, you can call in with a question, you can call in with a comment, and we'll make sure we get to you. And getting back to the calendar, once you get everything on that calendar for March, what you want to do is take every month and put that same bill on that same date for every month, all the way from March to December. The other thing that you want to do, which is very helpful, is usually on a desktop calendar, it's either on the margins or at the bottom of the page or at the top of the page. There's this space that's outside of those dates. Take all of your bills and list them out so that way you can have a check and balance to make sure that you have everything on that sheet and you have everything that you're accountable for on that calendar. Now, once you've done that for the whole year, now you have all of your bills laid out for the whole year. You know all of your due dates. The next part, which is one of the most important parts, and this is kind of where we left off in the last show, think about when you get paid. Now, some people are entrepreneurs. Some people, we have what we call payroll income. So if it's payroll income, what you want to do is set your dates on your payday. Because when you get paid, you're going to get paid a certain amount of money every 2 weeks or bi-monthly, or it may even be monthly. If you're an entrepreneur, your money comes a little infrequently because sometimes you get all your money up front. Sometimes you have to, have accounts receivable. Somebody owes you money and you have to, collect on the money and things of that nature. But you still want to have the calendar so that way you know the next time that you do have money come in, you need to address these bills on these dates, and it's in front of you, and it's going to save you money and time and effort. So we'll use the first example. If you have payroll income, set your bills once your bills are already set. So if I get paid on the 1st, what I'm trying to do is pay everything that's due from the 1st to the 16th, or the 15th, whenever the next time that I get paid. So if I get paid every 2 weeks, more than likely I'm going to be getting paid on the 15th. So every bill that's due between the 1st and the 16th, I'm going to pay with that check. And I'm going to set it up in such a way that all of that money is already allocated when I get the check. So you don't fall into this trap of, oh, I just got paid, I got $1,200. You don't have $1,200 or whatever your amount is. You might make $2,500, $3,500, whatever your number is. You don't have that because you have obligations that you need to address, and you're going to have to address those first. Talked about tithing before, so I'm not going to get into that. You make your choice. I told you my story. I told you why it's important. So everything from tithing to savings and all of your monthly expenses, you pay between the 1st and the 15th. Now, once you take out all of that money and you have it allocated, maybe you don't have $1,000 left. Maybe you start off with $1,200, and once you pay all your expenses, maybe you have $200 left. And I used to feel a little discouraged because I'm like, man, I done paid all my bills, I don't have $200 left. But let me tell you about that. It's a good feeling to know you don't have no more money left, but all your bills are paid. Everything that you owe is paid, and it's paid on time and paid in the time. There's no better feeling in the world, and you can sleep very good at night when all your bills are paid and you don't have but a little bit of money left, because you're going to always have some. We're going to keep some out for, whatever you do, whether it's fish fries or, I know it's a gospel show, so I'm not going to say Hennessy, but for whatever you do, I know you're going to hold some back, so we're going to be transparent on this show. But the good thing is when you move into the 15th and you get paid on the 15th, then you do the same thing. Everything that's due, everything that you do on the 15th to the end of the month, that's due on the 15th to the end of the month, then you pay those bills. So again, like if your mortgage is due on the 1st, try to catch it in that second check and go on and pay it on the 27th. Why is that important? It's important because when you start to pay your bills on time, you're going to increase your credit capacity. You're going to increase opportunities for yourself to get other things. So that's what you want to do. And the last thing I want to leave you with is this. What we talked about next level, which is if you go ahead and set it up automatically through your bank account. Don't set it up automatically through your creditor, because once you give them your information, they're drafted for whatever they need to draft it for. You'll be trying to get money back and so on. You set it up through your bank to pay a certain amount. So we got a call on the line. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Sarah Smith. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm for the giveaway.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the trivia. Have you been following the show, Sarah? Because now you done put me on the spot, so now I got to give you the guidelines. You called for the giveaway?
I'm ready for the guidelines.
Okay, you ready for the guidelines? Okay, here are the guidelines. Have you been listening to the show the last 3 weeks?
I caught a few episodes. I don't think all 3 weeks.
Okay. Now you know this show is in a gospel format, so this is what I need for you to do. This is what I need for you to do. And you got to be truthful, right? Because it's all about integrity and honesty. Have you created a budget for your household?
I have not created the budget for my household.
Okay. That's a good thing. It's not a good thing that you haven't created it. It's a good thing that you're being honest. So let's go to the next question. So if you haven't created the budget, let me ask a second question. Have you started to get your bills in order?
Yeah, I have started to get my bills in order.
Okay, you started to get your bills in order. So that's a good thing. Now the reason the first part is important is that you're gonna need to budget so that way you can see what your annual expenses are in order for it, because your budget is going to coincide with your bill payment system, which is that calendar and those file folders and the way that you manage your money. So those two are going to go together. They're kind of like, they're going to be symbiotic, or, things like one is not going to work without the other one. So what I'm going to do for you is this. Because you were the first caller and you said, hey, I'm ready for the giveaway, and you're committed. Now what I'm going to need for you is this. I'm going to need for you to, you can send me an email. Let me give you my email address. Send me an email with your contact information, and what we'll do is we'll ship you a prize. And you want a very nice prize. So let me tell you what the prize is, because I have two. And for some reason I brought two, but I guess I'm feeling like in a giving mood, right? Because I told you last night I felt like I was going to Christmas. So I don't know if you all can see this very closely, but what this is called a Sharper Image. Is a store where they sell a lot of different unique items, and this item that I'm going to give away today is something that I saw that I thought would be very unique. It's a jar that you collect coins in, but the thing that makes this jar unique, because it's from a Sharper Image, is digital. So as you put in coins, your quarters, your dimes, your nickels, and things of that nature, it's going to calculate on the top how much money you have in the jar. So you don't even have to go to the bank. You don't have to go to the bank and pour your pennies and your nickels and your dimes into the machine and then wonder how much you got. Before you even get to the bank, you can utilize this jar in this container, and it'll tell you how much you've saved. So I'm going to send that out to you, Sarah. So make sure you send me your email information. Yeah, I'm going to send. And the email address that you want to send me your information to is send it to Gorilla, like the animal, Gorilla, publishing @yahoo.com. Gorilla Publishing @yahoo.com, and I'll retrieve your information and I'll make sure I get this out to the mail for you. I thank you for supporting the show, and thank you for your call this evening.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Okay. So next we're gonna do like they do on the other radio shows. Caller number 3. I got 8 listeners. I'm saying, but you got to practice, man. This thing is serious. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the third caller, and caller number 3, you're gonna get. I have the same item. I have 2 of them. So caller number 3 is gonna get the Sharper Image digital counting money jar. So you want to call in to 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. And when you call in, like I said, I have a few questions for you. Not the same questions, maybe the same, maybe different, but definitely call into the show. And caller number 3, you're going to get this nice digital counting money jar. and it's going to help you in your personal finances. Other thing that I want to do, I always like to plug different books because I believe that you can learn a lot from reading. So one of the books that I would encourage everyone to get as you're starting to create your budget and as you start to get your bills in order is called The Richest Man in Babylon. This is one of the greatest books ever written. It was written in the early 1900s, but the rules of this book are still very, very, very applicable today. Book is very inexpensive. You can pick it up off of Amazon for probably less than $10, but it would truly, truly, truly bless your life. The author is George S. Clason, or Clayson, depending on how you want to pronounce it. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. This is one of the greatest books. One of my pastor friends, Brother Jermaine, said, he's in the background saying, great book, great book. This book will change your life. So every time that I come on, I try to make sure that I, bless you all with some good books. I probably have over 500 books in my personal library at home, and I've read most of them. I'm still trying to read some other ones, and I'm still buying books, but you can learn a lot from books. So, still looking for caller number 3. We're running out of time. We might have to break it down, Raheem. Caller number 1. Caller number 1. Caller number 1. Caller number 1. If you call in, you're gonna win something tonight. You're gonna win the Digital County Money Jar. So that way you'll be able to count your money. You'll be able to know what's going on, and it's been a great show. And the shows that are coming up, I'm super excited. And if you need any assistance with anything, I have a new website that's coming up. It's not even new. I have a nonprofit. We got caller number 1. Let's see who we got. Caller number 1. You go to Daily Bread. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name's Alicia. I'm calling from Snellville.
Oh, Alicia from Snellville. Okay, Alicia. So, Alicia, like the other caller, Sarah, I have a couple questions for you. And it's a gospel show, so we want to make sure that you're being honest. So the first question is, have you created a household budget for your household?
Yes, but we don't often keep it.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's an honest answer. I like honesty. Honesty is good. Okay, you have a budget, but you don't always keep it. Okay, that's for a different show, so I'm not going to go there. But second question is this: have you taken the time to start to get all of your household bills in order using the bill payment system? That's a long pause, Alicia.
I mean, like through a bank or?
No, just through the show. I've been walking through some steps, and if you haven't, it's okay. But I would strongly encourage you to take those steps and get your bills in order, because when you get your bills in order, what that's going to do is it's going to make your budget a lot more effective. So if you haven't done that, that's okay. But since you're the second caller this evening, what I'm going to do is bless you with the Sharper Image Digital County Money Jar. Some of the features: a plus and minus buttons ensures accurate balances when you add and withdraw coins manually. So that means when you open it up and you take out all of the quarters, you can deduct that, and it'll keep it digitally. So definitely will help you out, but definitely get your budget in place. Go ahead and get your bills in order, and I'll make sure that you receive this. So you can send me your information to Gorilla Publishing, GORILLA Publishing @yahoo.com, and I'll make sure I retrieve your information and get that special gift out to you. Because like I said on my show, one of the things I want to start doing is just giving things away. And this is going to be the small one. So in the future, we're going to start giving away things like gas cards, gift cards, all the way up to where we start to be able to, because my vision is I want to get to the point where I can give away $1,000 at one time. $1,000 at one time on one show to one person. And now let me preface this before y'all start, for this video start going viral, about $1,000. What we're going to do is, the way that it's going to work is this. It's my hope and my sincere prayer that everyone that's listening to this show has become serious about getting their personal finances in order. So what I'm going to do is sometime in the near future is have someone to be blessed with $1,000. And that $1,000 is not going to go to them in the form of cash. What it's going to do is they're going to need to have their budget and their bills and their bill payment system. And what I'm going to do is follow up with them off the air. And what we're going to do is pay $1,000 towards either one of their bills that they have or a collection of their bills to help speed up the process of them getting to where they want to be from a personal finance. So Alicia, thank you for calling. We got another caller that's calling in. And make sure that you continue to listen to the show every Thursday from 8 to 9. Caller, you're on the air with the Daily Bread. This is Joaquin. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Joaquin, my name is Brittany. I'm calling from Smyrna, Georgia.
Hey, Brittany, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Do you have a question or a comment? Because we out of banks now. Don't call up here for no more of these banks. These banks gone. So.
Uh-oh.
Don't.
I was trying to call, but I couldn't get through.
Okay. Well, I know the phone lines are jammed and it's internet radio, but how can I help you? What's your question or what's your comment?
I just want to say thank you for your encouraging words every week. I've been following your budgeting plan. And
Wait a minute, Brittany. Wait a minute. If you've been following every week, have you completed your household budget? Now, you know this is a gospel show, Brittany, so be honest.
Yes, I mean, we're getting there.
Okay, that sounds like no, but that's a good no. We getting there. We getting there. We getting there no. Okay, so let me ask you a second question. Have you started to get your bills? Have you taken the time to take all of your bills and start to get your bills in order?
Yes.
Okay. So you're on your way. So we do it in reverse. So like some people say, like the smart people, they say you're doing it invertedly. So at least you're starting to do it somewhere. Did you have a question or a comment?
No, just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, thank you, Brittany. Thank you for following us. We got some very powerful shows coming up in the future. So make sure you stay tuned in and tell all of your friends, use your social media, Facebook, Instagram, anything that you can do that we can share the information, because it's not about the numbers, it's about the number of people that we help. So thank you, Brittany.
Yes, have a blessed week.
You too.
All right, bye.
All right. So Raheem, is that it? Did we get a call number 3? No problem. So our time is up here. We got 3 minutes after 9. I want to thank everyone for tuning in this week. Make sure that, like I said, make sure that you support yourself, start some groups, tell people what we're doing over here. Tell people, and I want you all to hold me accountable. Because if you see me doing something that is not in line with this vision, if you see me all of a sudden, I'm going to start me a lawn, a landscaping company because I can, or I'm going to start me I'm going to start me a music label because I can. I want you to pull me to the side and say, you're my accountability partner, and that's not what you said you was going to do. You said you were going to do personal finance shows until you got to the point where you reached Madison Square Garden, you sell out the garden, and we're going to do a show on personal finance. So I'm looking for everybody to be my accountability partner. I love you all. Thank you for all the love and support, all of the accolades, all of the, the energy to keep me going, because this is the beginning of the dream. It's not the end. So I'm all in. So you all have a blessed week. Be good, and I'll be at you next Thursday, 8 to 9, dkmradio.com. This is the Daily Bread Show with Joaquin. You all have a great evening.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I love y'all. I love them.